1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing, testing, testing. We're back in business. 'Cause I'm a professional. Professional. But baby, come back. Do that boo. We're gonna stream all night. Because I've got models that I have to paint. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Gotta hit that multi-stream option because I have friends all over the world. Yeah, I know, my singing can be annoying, but that's okay. You're here for it, and I thank you. I thank you. Tim, thank you very much for watching. Accept risk. What do we got? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Go live. I'm here. I'm watching. Oh, right, 3 minutes in. That's okay. That's okay. And we're back. I got a few people watching. Oh, so much stuff going on. Too many games on the brain. If you have not been following along to the Facebook page, I am playing every single war game known to man. And some that are not well known. And I love it. I love every minute of it. That's a base coating brush. I'm pulling out all the brushes today because we are going to be working on some kill team models. I'm going to give it just a little bit of time so that I come up live on both Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. The stream has not started yet. We're still getting things together. You can hear me get my brushes. Getting my brushes and my paints together because it is going to be a hoot tonight. It's been so long since I painted something modern, i.e. 40K. I'm very excited to get back into it. Paint these miniatures. We're starting a little late, but that is not my fault. Started playing this new Street Fighter mobile game, so everybody can blame Street Fighter for that. I need black, coal black, coal black. That's coal black. Coal black. I'll be using dark silver. Dark silver. I'll be using bronze. Oh. A dark gray blue. And I need that purple. Where is that purple? I have a beautiful purple that I'll be using from Monument Hobbies Pro Acro line. Purple. There we go. I want to paint these guys. Hey, Joe, what's going on? Thanks for joining the stream, brother. Joe joining us over on Facebook. Very excited. Very excited. And it is time to go. I want to thank everybody for jumping on and watching me tonight. We're going to have a good old time. Real quick. Oh. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Okay, there we go. Welcome everybody to the Big Bad Nerd Dad stream. I'm very excited to be streaming some painting again. Last week I did some assembly of some 40K models, and I'm very excited to start playing. There I am. Yes, there I am, Joe. Thank you for waiting for me. very excited to be painting these Kill Team models because I love war games. I forgot how much I love war games. I've been able to get out the past couple of weeks, play some role-playing games with my friends, play some war games, learn some new war games. I'll be talking about several of those on the stream today. If you've ever watched the stream, I know that I've talked about Frostgrave before by Joseph McCullough and Osprey Games, and I've fallen in love with another of their line of war games. It's Frostgrave, Stargrave, Rangers of Shadow Deep, and I just started playing Silver Bayonet. Silver Bayonet is so much fun. It's very exciting. Thought I heard something, but it was my cat snoring. Old loud cat. All right, so we are going to get started today by checking out these really cool little veteran guardsmen that I've painted. See if I can get these on. You know what? Let's just go to the double angle. Boop. There we go. You can see them nice and neat. This is for a war game called Kill Team. This is my entire team. So I'm really liking skirmish games right now. Over the past few weeks. Silver Bayonet, yeah. If you're on YouTube, I've got Brother Brett, ASL Baron 1, saying hello, and he heard me talking about Silver Bayonet. Me and him got to play a game of Silver Bayonet, which we had a lot of fun. I wouldn't say that I really won it because I was able to jump in, jump out, and Silver Bayonet is made to be played like in a campaign, a very long story. So we had a good time. I technically did win. I had the most experience points / victory points at the end of the game, but it was a lot of fun. Hi, Mama. My mama's watching on Facebook. I can only assume. Hi, Mama. But these models are for 40K. I love you, Tia Tina. Oh, must be Tia Tina. Tia Tina's watching from somewhere. Hi, Tia Tina. These models are for Kill Team. It's a skirmish war game set in the 40K universe. 40K. When you hear 40K, Warhammer 40K, a lot of people think hundreds of models, a huge 4x8 table, terrain all over the place. Kill Team is much smaller. It's on a 22 by 18. It's a much smaller board. Maybe it's 20 by 18, something like that. It's a lot smaller. It's faster. You have this veteran squad of characters. Each character has their own little name, has their own little role to fill, and so we'll be painting models for that today. These were primed last night. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post where I was like, guys, I cannot stream tonight. I've got too much to do. My work desk where I stream and work is incredibly dirty. I have models all over the place. Models for, I'll show you right now. Models for Kill Team. Models for Silver Bayonet. Switch it over. Oop, wrong one. Models for Silver Bayonet. These are my Russians. Got models for Warcry. Got models for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Like I said, I'm playing all the games and I am absolutely, oh shoot, forgot. Models for Onslaught, the D&D board game / war game. I mean, I've got stuff all over the place. I need to clean up a little bit. I need to get myself back together. I need to clean my workspace so that I can collect myself and have a good time while I'm streaming, instead of being like, oh man, there's stuff all over the place. Don't knock anything over while you're streaming. Be careful. And here I am. So today we're going to try something a little different. A few weeks ago, last month in January, the beginning of January, I painted a Carnage model for Marvel Crisis Protocol using the Citadel color contrast paint. I'm going to give you a quick look at that. These are really, really neat. For anybody that's new to painting, they do a lot of the hard work for you. They shade, they wash, they make things look really, really good on just by simply painting a white model. And I'm not too invested in Kill Team. Space Cadets Gaming, one of my sponsors, gave me this Kill Team box. And I love orcs, but I need to paint up these veteran guardsmen so that I have a second team, right? So once we do a demo of how to play on the stream, I'll actually have 2 nice painted up teams. But I don't want to take too much time on this, and this is a great way to do it is with these contrast paints. You literally slather it all over the model, and it'll fill in the nooks and crannies. It'll give you shading. The only thing it won't do is highlights for you, but if you're careful, you can almost make it look like highlights. You can give it a couple of coats, and it'll make things darker. For these guys, I really, really, really wanted to do like a Black Ops team, right? So I've got a black Templar contrast paint and a shyish purple contrast paint. These are both from Citadel. Any of the normal acrylic paints that I'll use today will be from Pro Acryl, Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl line. Absolutely love these paints. They flow really well. So I'm going to save my little doctor's bag for last. I'm not quite sure what I need this doctor's bag for, but it was a model that I could build, and I wanted to build it. I mean, look at that. Got like little bips and bobs inside of it, needles and syringes and medical tools. I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. I'll do that. One, because I love support characters. It doesn't matter what the game is. I love me some support characters. So I said, let me get me a couple of medics. So I made me a medic and an inquisitor and a veteran mobile unit guy, a comms expert. I didn't just want heavy gunners and bruisers, and here's another combat medic. Right. I love support characters. I don't think they get enough love in any game. They're essential, right? You need support. Everybody needs a little support, and in wargaming, it's no different. So I am actually going to start with a model that looks fairly easy to paint, and that's going to be my bruiser. So this bruiser is holding up like a war club. He's got his gun to his side. I am literally just going to start slapping paint all over these guys. So because this contrast paint has it's very liquidy, you can't see it through the bottle, but you should be able to see almost through the bottom. So you want to make sure you knock all that pigment around. Normally I drop like a ball bearing or something hard and plastic that won't corrode in the paint. These Pro Acryl paints, I don't know if you can hear it, but when I shake this, that's just the paint swishing around in there. When I shake these Pro Acryl paints, they have a little glass bead in there to help knock the pigmentation around. Get the pigments all swirly dirly. All right. So painting the Carnage was fairly easy. I just spray painted the Carnage model all white, and then had at it with the contrast paint. These guys I have to be a little bit more careful with. This is the Shyest Purple. So dark. I have no idea if this stuff goes bad or not. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna dip it in there. We're just gonna swing it around, right? Brush is nice and swirly. That's a dark purple. Weird. There we go. Okay. I'm just gonna slather these blokes. This contrast. Other bits and bobs. So this is the stylish purple. Hold on one second. My wife decided to sell a cat tree. So now I have to go take this cat tree out to this lady. I will be right back. Yes, I know. It's a little unprofessional, but it's what we gotta do. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I am back, and what were we painting? Oh, there he is. Oh yeah. So if you look, that contrast paint has already dried up. A very thin layer over that white, and I like it. It's much dark. It's a much darker purple than I was anticipating, but I like it for my Black Ops look. Now, I'm going to paint the rest of him. I'm going to go back over his shoulders and other parts. With different colors. I'll pick out the leathers. Bloop. I just want to get nitty gritties, and what I'll end up doing is going back over his pants to make his pants a little bit darker with a second coat. But I'm really liking this. Up a loop. A loop right there across the front. Get into all the crevices. Thank you, Joe, for watching. Joe, my main man, he is on Facebook. All right, so if you haven't watched or you haven't been watching, I'm using these contrast paints. I'm sorry, if you're just joining, I'm using these contrast paints. I will be using them all over the main body, and then I'll be going back with a detail brush and picking out all the leather work and metal. All right, so my first guy's done. Actually get in his just a little bit. And I'm not too worried about overpainting in some areas, so I'm just going to go right back over on those details. So, Kill Team, very excited about continuing Kill Team. I played Kill Team a few years back, right when my oldest was born. Also, about 4.5, 5 years ago. I actually played in a charity event called Clash for a Cure. Man, I love that event. It was just a bunch of tabletop wargamers getting together to raise money for the American Cancer Association to help with cancer research and I played in their Kill Team event, and I played in several of their War Machine events. Loved it. And that's one thing that I really want to try and do more of as a tabletop gamer and community advocate is doing more charity events with tabletop gamers. Man, in 2015, my wife and I ran this really nice tabletop game food drive for the Houston Food Bank. And we had so much fun. Got a little overzealous with the paint. There we go. Happy accidents. All right, now we are going to loop, loop. All right. Paint his back. Paint his back. Put that backpack on, but I can still see bits and pieces of his cloth armor. Make sure that's done. You know what? I give his backpack a black wash too. And come back and pick the details. A bit thick. I'm okay with that. Again, the cool thing about this contrast paint is that the pigment's going to settle in all the nooks and crannies and make it look pretty cool. There you go. All right. Next one is done. Take him off his little base. Grab the next figure. Continue to paint these bad boys. So while I'm painting these guys, me, one of the big bad nerd bros, Mr. Joe, a good friend and fellow big bad nerd bro, James. We'll be playing Kill Team. We'll be playing Warcry. I've been talking about Frostgrave for so long, but unfortunately we've never played Frostgrave together. But I definitely want the guys to play Frostgrave with me, because I absolutely love Frostgrave. In fact, if you've never played Frostgrave, I highly recommend you get out and try it. It's a fantastic game. All right. Another guy done. So the cool thing about, I always talk about it but never played it. Yeah. So Frostgrave is a really neat game that is becoming one of my favorite types of games, which is model agnostic. In other words, you do not have to have certain models to play the game. So like with this Kill Team, you have to have these particular models to represent this particular army. And sometimes the models can be expensive. Sometimes these models are $100 for 10 models, and you're just like, ooh, baby, that is not handy dandy at all. But with Frostgrave, you can use models from any line. You can use plain bone miniatures. If you find models you like online, you can 3D print models and use whatever you want to represent whatever you have. Back. Loop. I haven't done a gun yet on one of these guys, so I'll try the gun. This combat medic. Loop. Alright, I'm already 4 done. It's going to actually take me long. It's going to take these guys longer to dry than it is to paint them. But Silver Bayonet is in the same vein of Frostgrave, where it's model agnostic. Where Frostgrave is really neat, you get to build a very powerful wizard who takes an adventuring group into the frozen city of Felstad and is looking for treasures. There's tons of different scenarios to play, so you're always looking for a different way to play. It's never just assassinate your opponent's wizard. It could be locate a ancient tomb, or discover why there's a rogue golem roaming the city. Like, there's different neat scenarios for you to play, and that's really important for keeping the longevity of the game and making it fun for all players, because not all players are assassination style players where they want to immediately go after their opponents, particularly in these games where they're meant to be played like in a campaign, a long ongoing series of games. A bit more on the screen. There we go. I'm just slathering these models with this contrast paint. It is filling all the nooks and crannies. I love it. But so Frostgrave is really neat because you make your wizard and then you build a warband. You fill it up with warriors, knights, barbarians, archers, hunters, different things like that, different fantasy style characters. And in the Silver Bayonet, it is based off of the Napoleonic Wars. So all those times that Napoleon and the French went out, started busting heads, your characters are from that time frame. So you have to have different armies from that time frame playing in it. So there's like the Prussians, the Spain, France. I chose the Russians. And I chose the Russians specifically because they're the only faction army that can bring a werebear, right? So I know I said it's Napoleonic, but it's also a gothic horror war game, which is really what got me. Like, anything spooky, supernatural, I'm in. I want to play it. I want to check it out at the very least. Right? I love it. But I got to play my first game of Silver Bayonet this past Friday up at the Adventure Begins here in, I believe it's in Conroe or Magnolia, just north of Houston. I live in Houston, and my buddy Brother Brett got me the rule book, told me he wanted me to play, wanted me to check it out. And I'm so glad he did. I have models that fit the Russian theme, and I built me a little Silver Bayonet unit with some riflemen and infantrymen and my captain. Your captain's like a veteran supernatural seeker. and it was a lot of fun. I brought my werebear. My werebear was a yes, and oh yeah, Brother Brett's over on YouTube, and he says that the Adventure Begins is in fact in Conroe. I brought my werebear. The werebear was a lot of fun to play with. Beast, the very costly miniature. Like each character that you bring to the table costs a certain amount of points, and the werebear was very expensive, so I had to bring a bunch of like really crummy generic infantrymen to balance that out, because you want to take quite a few characters so you're not overwhelmed and that you can spread them out a bit. Joe over on Facebook says that he likes The Adventure Begins. It's a great store. It's very nice, well put together. It's a little far for me, about a 30-45 minute drive. I know for some of y'all hearing that from different places in the country, we're very spoiled in Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas has fantastic gaming stores all over, 20-15 minutes from from where you live in Houston. They've got stores on the north side, stores on the south side, stores on the east side, stores on the west side, central Houston. We're just really, really spoiled in Houston, Texas with game stores, and good game stores too, because it's one thing to have a plethora of game stores, but to have such good quality game stores, especially, you know, I live on the north side of Houston, and so we have my favorite store, Space Cadets Gaming. We have Fat Ogre. We have Halcyon Games. We have The Adventure Begins. We have Game World. Cards and Comics in Conroe. There's just so many good stores filled with good people. Like, you walk in, they immediately greet you. There's no nerd stigma, like, what are you doing here? Because it wasn't that way a couple years ago. I remember walking into several different stores in the Houston area, and if you weren't a regular, they didn't know who you were. They didn't cater to you, and that was rough, real rough and sad, because they were losing players left and right, players that could have been playing with us today. Let me take one of these figures that I had originally painted so you can see. This guy's kind of wet. You can see it a lot better on the camera. He's getting there, right? And then this is after it dries a bit, and it's really making those colors pop. Oop, I missed an entire underspot right there. Oop, just paint that real quick. Bleep, blop, bloop. I love it. I love it. But The Adventure Begins. Very nice, well put together. Downstairs filled with product. They have also comic books and other nerd accoutrement, not just games. So they're a multifaceted store. And that aspect, right? A lot of the board game stores in the area are starting to carry things other than board games. But Brother Brett and I played our first game of the Silver Bayonet, and it was so much fun. It was like playing Frostgrave for the first time. It was different, and we were figuring out the rules. We had some exciting turns where the entire focus of the scenario was we were supposed to be locating clues because something had attacked the village, and we as paranormal investigators basically were in there to figure out what it was, what's going on, and then such a situation. Now, of course, because we have the scenario packet, we knew it was a hobgoblin. So we bumped into a hobgoblin, but we don't know who's going to find it. We don't know where it's going to appear. When it did appear, I had the option. I searched for the clue that revealed the hobgoblin, and I had the option to place the hobgoblin wherever I wanted within 6 inches of the board. And so I guess Brett thought that I was going to place it in front of him. But again, we had the scenario packet in front of us, and it said that if I killed the hobgoblin, I would get extra experience and extra points. And I was like, well, I'm doing that. Why would I give him the ability to knock out the hobgoblin? Although the hobgoblin was kind of beefy. But I put him right in front of my werebear and just started tearing him apart. Loop. Yeah, I really love this contrast paint. It's a very deep purple, not so much black. But discovered the hobgoblin. I don't think I destroyed any of Brett's troops. I was able to investigate 3 different clue markers, which was one of the missions. Like one of the parts of the mission was to find investigate 2 or more clue markers. So I did that. I got the experience for that. I found the hobgoblin. I destroyed the hobgoblin, and then I got off the board. And that's another thing with Frostgrave and Silver Bayonet and Stargrave. You don't have to destroy your opponent's army to win the game. If you complete more of the objectives than your opponent, then you can just skedaddle off the board, take your clues, your victory points, and boom, ride like the wind, bullseye. I wasn't there to fight. In fact, I rebuilt my Russian team to be more like bush fighters. So they got hit and run tactics. They're very hard to hit at range. It looks like a death trooper. I just painted him completely except for his boots. Oh, and now I have nowhere to grab him. Side. One last one to contrast paint. But I rebuilt my Russian list, and I will be playing Brett sometime next month in the Silver Bayonet. I'm very fortunate. Brett also plays in the same D&D game that I play in with my buddies that I've known for several years. Over a decade, and I love it. I love them very much. They're good guys. They see me through thick and thin. And they're just really good gamers. They want to sit down and play games. They don't goof around. Austrians. Ooh. Have you taken a look at the rulebook, Joe? Joe just posted on Facebook that he would choose the Austrians. I believe they get the Damphier as their specialty unit. And again, I know nothing about the Napoleonic Wars. Just looked up the other groups. I know nothing about the Napoleonic Wars. I'm not a history buff. I'm not a lover of history. But maybe a little. But playing the game made me look up. All right, what do I want to be? Who are the good guys? Who are the bad guys? What was going on in that time period? Or what can I use for story-wise to be like, all right, this is why my group is together, and this is what they're trying to do. This is what they're trying to achieve. See if I can get this light in here better. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But had an amazing time. Had a great time playing The Silver Bayonet by Joseph McCullough. And I will be playing more of it. And there is an option for solo play. So that's another thing that really keys me into some of these games is the ability to, you know what, I may not be able to get out every week to play a war game, but I need to play tabletop games because it's my outlet. It's what helps me get through my feelings, right? It's what helps me decompress. So there's a single player mode for, oh, got one more. There's a single player mode for the Silver Bayonet, and is built right into the core rulebook. Okay. Built right into the core rulebook, so not only does it want you to play with other people, but it gives you an option in case there aren't too many people around for you to play with. And there's players all over the world, I found out, because when I started getting into it and I was looking for information, I know that there is a Crossgrave group on Facebook, and so I just searched up the Silver Bayonet on Facebook, and again, there's tons and tons of players worldwide that are playing. It is a very well liked and received game, which means that I could potentially find players all over if I'm traveling for whatever reason. All right. So I'm definitely going to do some single player games on the stream here in the next few months. I want to do like a single player Saturday or a single player Sunday when I don't have anything else to do. I don't have anything on the schedule. My wife may go have a girls' night, and I have to watch the girls. I have to watch our babies, put them to bed, and then get them ready. Nope, nope, that's still not dry. You know what? Let me repaint this guy. Do some single player Saturdays. Which, right. I want to make this bruiser a little bit darker. I want him to be a visible threat on the battlefield. I'm just going to go crazy with the contrast paint on him. Up a loop. All right, so we're going to let that dry off. I'll let these guys dry. But you can see it does the work for you. So now all I'm going to have to do is go back and pick off details, paint the gunmetal, paint the book. These contrast paints are made to do this. They're made to just slather on. They'll push the pigments into the recesses, and then you go back and just clean up. Very easy painting, specifically because in 40K you have to have your models painted in professional events. Thanks, Joe. Joe says on Facebook that they're looking good. In 40K you have to have your models painted a certain way, and there has to be at least 3 different colors on the model. So if you take a contrast paint and just wipe it down completely on every single model, and then you go back and paint all of their metal weapons. So you paint them a dark silver. That's 2 colors. Then you go back and do their leathers, right? Any leather marks, brown, like a dark brown. There's 3 colors. Boom, easy peasy lemon squeezy. But then you're gonna want to go back and like hit any of the little emblems or metal pieces with a different silver or a bronze, right? To give it a little bit more of a look. So that helps you finish off the model. This is a nice, quick, and easy way to get the models quickly painted. There we go. Right in there. There we go. You can see that there's some spots that are a little lighter, where the pigment washed away from it, or maybe I've touched with my hand, and that's going to happen. I'll go back and repaint as needed in different spots. Happens all the time. I'm just going to let these little guys dry, and I am going to talk about our sponsor, Space Cadets Gaming. So if you live in the Houston area and need a friendly local game store, I highly recommend Space Cadets Gaming. Whoop, 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 wrong way. Whoop. Now it's the Aegis Creative Company. Highly recommend Space Cadets Gaming. They've been helping me out from the very beginning of my streaming. They gave me the entire Kill Team Octarius starter for me to paint up. I've got terrain. If you saw the pictures on Facebook earlier today, I primed these models. I primed the terrain that came with the box. So then in the next few weeks, me and Joe will get these minis out on the table and do a couple of demo games with each other, and then play on stream. They have so much more than miniatures at that store. That store is filled with good people that are wanting to help you find the games that make you happy. And I really think that that's what tabletop gaming is all about. It's just decompressing, sitting down with others, having fellowship, and having a good time. That's what tabletop games are for. And Space Cadets Gaming really brings that home with everything that they do, and their community events, and the stock that they have, ordering items for individuals. They're constantly doing things for Extra Life and putting back into the community. And I absolutely love them. Great people, great store. Can't wait to play more games there. And really grateful that they feel that I'm a good advocate for their store to sponsor my stream. Because there's no way I would have been able to afford this Kill Team box on my own. It's a great 2-player starter, so if you have a friend to jump in with you, it's a great deal to split it. You each get a team, you each get terrain. The instructions on how to assemble are very well done, giving you multiple options for the miniatures that are within the box. Boop. And that is going to conclude the first segment of this stream for painting these Kill Team miniatures. I'm going to pick it up next week, where I'm going to be picking off all the details, painting the terrain, and then hopefully I'll be getting back to you about playing solo missions in Silver Bayonet, Warcry, and talking a little bit about some of the future aspirations of the Big Bad Nerd Dad, including my first board game that I'll be working with the Aegis Creative Company to develop. I can't give away any information just yet, but it's going to be a hoot. It's a lot of fun. It's going to be a really good sit down with the family game, a press your luck game, much like I live my life, pressing my luck day by day. So thank you very much for watching the stream. I really appreciate it. We'll be doing some more painting next Monday, and then we may be doing another stream this weekend, depending on if I can get the models and crew together to do a solo game of Frostgrave, or maybe I'll even call in a friend and we'll do a multiplayer game of Frostgrave, so that y'all guys can see what I've been talking about for so many weeks and months. Thank